With a string inverter is very similar. So you also have a central skid, but it's just a transformer. The inverter itself is mostly distributed across the field,
Yeah. Yeah.
serving as like a conversion and also a combiner,
Yeah.
converting DC to AC and run an AC home run instead of DC home run. We also have what we call ACPLC kits, which can provide communication for some larger projects. Instead of running, RS-45 daisy train, which can be a very long run in utility projects, customer can utilize our ACPLC kits. This use the AC cables to communicate to the inverter and or bridge the inverter to the SCADA. So the communication, wire saving there is also a good, consideration for a lot of installers. We even provide a cluster mount. If you look at this one here, it's a three inverters plus a breaker box, kind of like a 875 layout for
Yeah.
utility projects. We're seeing this being installed along the driveway for the projects at the end of the checker tables for easier serviceability. All of these are facing one direction, so truck pull in and then can service inverters and the breakers, in case it's
Yeah.
needed.
In my recent conversation with Anton, we talked about CPS's approach to designing solutions for customers' ease, and this is a good example of that. This cluster mount, yeah.
Yeah, and followed by that is just example of our utility, power block or a building block. This is a 4.2 megawatt example, which showing in 15 275 inverters, 5 breaker boxes, 5 switch boxes, and a 4.2 medium phase voltage transformer skid. So we provide the entire solution and provide certification for different parts of it. So the system is tested and fully verified by CPS.
This is probably a good block for community solar projects. It's probably ideal for that size, is what I'm assuming. But is it being used in other applications or use cases?
Yeah, we have 100 project with 100 megawatt and above using this
Using this
system. Yeah.
25 times over. Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, for community solar, I've seen a lot of 5 megawatts block, but for 5 megawatt, they usually don't use like a single 5 megawatt skid. They use 2 of the 2.5 instead.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me. So we also have a different size of medium voltage transformer, and like we offer 2.8. So 2 of the 2.8 will give you 5.6, which gives you can use it as a 5 megawatt and with the additional kVA overhead or MVA overhead in case of 0.95 power factor or volt-var control is required by the utility. Then you can utilize the overhead. And the rest of the inverters and breaker boxes, switch boxes, the number you can just decrease that down, right? So it's very flexible. It's all modular design. So either it's a 4.2 or it's a 2.8. It can be the same design, just a different numbers of it. With the 350, it's very similar. So we unify the design for our solution. So later, if we have other inverters, we can do similar things. And one thing to bring up here is the 800 volt. Why we do the 800 volt breaker boxes and switch boxes? It's in around 2020 when we start to work on 800 volt PV inverters, we see a lot of customer asking where they can find the 800 volt breakers or switch or fuses to work with our inverters, and we're seeing the limitation in that. And usually, what we are found is there was a long lead time for those items, and which slowed down the inverters. Projects as well, because when a customer buy your inverter, they need to know where to buy the rest of them to get a project up. So we decided, okay, we can provide those. We can, work on the total solution for you. And why not? Because we're the system, provider. We know our inverter the best, or even, better for, the switch gear companies, right? So, and And we're good at this. So we provide a total solution from inverters, breaker box, switch box to medium voltage transformer.
Makes sense. One question: Can customers buy these direct from you guys, or do you go to market from via distributors like Greentech Renewables and others?
For utility, we only do direct purchasing. So it's all through CPS.
Okay, for these larger products, it's all direct.
350, I guess it's one of the highest power string inverter now globally. And it's a very high power density inverter. Dimension of the inverter, it's very similar to the 275, but the powers increase significantly, right? From 275 to 350. So it features 15 MPPTs. So each, 350 have 15 MPPTs in there, which is a lot. Central inverter, right? A central inverter, for example, like a 4.4 skid usually have maybe 4 MPPTs. If you have, let's say, 15 MPPT in even a smaller 350, if we're talking about 4.2 megawatt, how many of them? Like 12 times 15 MPPTs available.
Yeah.
That's going to give you a lot of flexibility in generation. And especially if your projects having, the PV arrays or trackers facing different direction because of the terrain, or for example, if it's a hilly area, you can utilize the MPPTs to give you more production. So
Yeah.
that gives a lot of more flexibility in generation in project.
Right. More optimization, almost like what happens in a microinverter again, but at a whole system scale.
The design is fully compatible with nowadays a 210 millimeter bifacial PV modules, which can go up to 700 watts per module, right?